Welcome everyone who is also interested in A Course in Miracles and what it actually means to our lives. We have come to lesson number 31 today. And for new viewers, I am a student or a teacher to myself, because you teach what you have to learn, or I teach what I have to learn. That's a good way of learning. And to returning ones, warmly welcome, and we will see where this will get us. So I will start with lesson number 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. Just the name of the lesson awakens a lot in me as a person. For returning viewers, you have already heard me mentioning and telling about my own life story. That I did have quite a heavy pain body. The pain body is the aspect of you that is a victim. And I victimized myself in my younger years, and it's so easy. For you who have not really gotten yet familiar with this terminology about what is victimization and what could a pain body be, I just shortly say that it could be so subtle in a person. When we blame the world or, the circumstances or somebody else, we are actually in the range of victimization. Why I mention this before I dig into the text is because there is it's so easy to misunderstand this and feel that I don't know what this is, or I was never in a victimization. I'm not telling anyone where anyone has been. I'm just telling about myself that the way to freedom is not to be in this state of mind. It doesn't take you to a nice place. So this is about what I wanted to say before I go further in the text. I am not the victim of the world I see. Today's idea is the introduction to your declaration of release. Again, the idea should be applied to both the world you see without and the world you see within. And in applying the idea, we are going to use a practice I'm reading now, which will be used more and more as we go ahead. Generally speaking, the form includes two aspects. One in which we are encouraged to apply the idea on a more sustained basis, and the other consisting of frequent applications of the idea throughout the day. And this will become clearer as we go ahead. All right. And as always, there will not be a very heavy burden of lessons, of practice periods. They will be, we are supposed to do this in a playful way and a leisurely way. That's why I like these practice periods, because they are free of, you can choose the way you do them and when you do them, as long as you do them, at least once or twice. So, we are encouraged to survey our inner world. Now, what does that mean? If I'm not familiar with my inner world, how can I serve it? How can I bear to go inside? Is my inner world the world of thoughts going around? I have to pay the mortgage, I have to catch that train, I have to do this and buy a gift for this dinner, or all these thoughts. Is that the inner world? Or are they merely thoughts? I would say it's not really the inner world. It is the thoughts. And as most people who have come in contact with A Course in Miracles and have found their way here, me reading, I think it's quite familiar that we should not believe everything we think. Of course, if I have a task, or if the bank expects me to pay a mortgage every month, and that thought comes up in my mind, and I think, no, I don't believe that thought, I will be in trouble. So that is not the thought system that is questioned. The thought system that we have and that we might not trust so much is the thoughts about ourselves in validating terms, like I'm a bad person, I'm a person to blame, I'm judging yourself, and there's a lot going around in us. So the inner world contains a lot. Anyway, I will continue. Let's see. Where was I? As you survey your inner world, merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness, each one to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next, like watching the clouds. We should not think of a hierarchy of thoughts, that one thought is more important or less important than another. Just watch them as they come and go. So we should not dwell on anything here, just getting used to be the observer of the thoughts. That's the most important step to take when it comes to getting to know the place within that is stable, and that is the true being inside of us. Okay, so it's a good way. Been on that way for many years now, and I'm getting better and better at observing my own reactions, even when life can be really hard sometimes, and you go into reactions because maybe you wouldn't survive. But what do you do when you go into that reaction? Do you go to depression and despair, or do you just tell yourself, okay, I'm in a reaction now? Big difference. So the idea for today is particularly useful. Is a particularly useful one to use as response to any form of temptation that may arise. What kind of temptation might that be? It is a declaration that you will not yield to it and put yourself in bondage. I think they mean, this was the last sentence in the last paragraph, and I think that what the Course means here is about what I said before, that it can be very, very, very tempting to go into despair and victimization and, the world is horrible and my situation. I'm not saying that it's bad to go there. We all are there sometimes. We are humans. What is important to know is that when we are in that, it's like a drug, you know. Oh, pity me. That we know what we are doing. It's a big difference. To be free of it, maybe it's not realistic right now. But to know that I'm actually doing this, am I? Big step. And I told this in another lesson before, but for new viewers, or for old ones, you might have forgotten, that when I first read in a book in India, 1997, a sentence that one of the worst things that can happen to a person is to go into self-pity and victimization. And it was totally alien to me when I read it. I thought, oh, what a pitiful person that must be. Who does that? I never done that. No. Who would do that? What a crazy thing. What a crazy place to be. I was a bit younger and I did not really know. I hadn't acknowledged that aspect of myself. I didn't know that I was very, very often in that state of mind. So what is the continuing reflection? What could that be? Is there any more to say about this? What will it teach us? What will it help us with as we go on? Well, we all know that we are not free if we are victims, of course. Are we strong when we are victims? I would say not. It weakens us. But just the idea that I should be a victim of something, it makes me less strong. But how can I feel that I'm strong when I'm not? How can I feel hope and light and to be able to reach a state of feeling strong when I'm on the bottom of everything? Is that possible? Yes, the Course helps us to find that ladder, because there is always a ladder to climb. We can choose either to believe what we think in that darkest moment, and we can get totally lost in the feeling and reaction. If we just take one breath and say to ourselves, maybe I can reflect on this reaction. Can I witness my own reaction? That's the way out, because you will feel the division between you and the being you, and that is a strong place, the strongest place, because it's unthreatened. And you will see that you also contain a more moving and changeable and not stable world, and that is the thoughts and reaction we have. So we actually have one stable place inside and one that is going on. And the Course helps us to see what is what. And that is the way to freedom. And now I will turn to Tokyo.
Hello, Tokyo here. That's beautifully put. I felt really, I felt at ease, and at peace when I listened to you.
That's a very good. That's a very good.
Isn't it interesting how one can feel at ease and peaceful just by listening to something which is well formulated and has meaning?
I find great help in that, and I listen to people every day, or talk to you. On YouTube, I listen to people who knows a lot about the Course of Miracles, and other people too. And I agree with you. It gives me, it's better than a nerve pill, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It's I usually think that there's no drug that beats a good night's sleep, you know.
That's true.
But there's also no drug that beats, the feeling that one gets when listening to something which is true and formulated in a good way. And it's interesting that one isn't actually thinking about what the contents of the what one is hearing is, you know, what the contents are, right?
I agree. I agree.
One can still feel that it's, when one is not thinking about it, one is just receiving it passively.
I agree.
One feels,
I
that's
agree.
interesting to me.
I agree, and that's exactly what I feel when I, for example, listen to Emily and Robert Perry in exploring Course in Miracles, the Circle of Atonement, and Mujiji Baba, who I listen a lot to too. I sometimes don't understand half of what they are actually saying, but just listening, it fills me with light and calm. And I become calm. And there are others too. Eckhart Tolle, I love listening to his slow way of expressing things, and it puts me in such a calm state because I know that they are speaking the truth, these people I mention.
That is very interesting. Yeah, it's you know it, but not me too, but not necessarily on a logical level. I mean, we're not sitting thinking about, oh, what is this person saying, analyzing it, you know.
That's true.
But just taking it in passively. But the brain is still working to understand in a sort of a peaceful way. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It is interesting, and it's a salvation, if I might use such a big word. Actually,
Yeah,
it's a salvation.
it is. It is.
So many of us
I
are
think it's
in.
very interesting.
So many of us are in pain, especially if we are a sensitive person. I am. That's why I found myself in Rishikesh in my 30s, because I'm a sensitive person. I found life quite hard to live, and how should I live it? Who am I? So many people are, constructed that way, and then to reach out and listen to others and talk to others, it's the way where we can find a peace of mind and comfort each other in a world in a world of happenings, in a world of things going on.
Yeah. And it's interesting that we as humans have this capacity to understand something even though we haven't gone in to understand it.
Yes.
In a logical way. So it's interesting. I think that's the essence of listening, which the brain is doing, even though one hasn't necessarily told it to. That's the core of it.
You can't see me but I'm nodding now because what you said is so beautiful, and it is true. Yeah, listening. Yeah.
No, great chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for participating, and see you soon.